Welcome to Turntable Golf. It's a system I've designed to help golfers learn two specific strokes that allow them to play all the shots they need to score well in this great game. It's based on a turntable. You can see this turntable. This disc can revolve or spin around a steady base. And of course you can put an album on it, and the turntable spins and allows you to play music, but it spins around a spindle. And you can make this turntable horizontal or vertical or diagonal. One of these strokes, you would try to visualize a vertical turntable. The other one would play on a diagonal. And both of these strokes are based on the career of Harry Vardon, who brought us the Vardon grip. He's considered the father of modern golf, and he recommended that you learn the classic swinging procedure first, and that is the first method that I would teach you, and then what he called the push stroke, which he later in his career began to prefer. And so you may see it better by looking at a Lazy Susan. I can rotate this tabletop on a steady base, or a propeller that I can spin around a drive shaft while the plane or the base stayed quiet. And the first method, the classic swinging procedure, you would consider your left arm in a golf club to be the turntable that can spin or rotate or revolve around a drive shaft or a bit or spindle. And this spindle is your left shoulder joint. So you can see I can spin my left arm and club around this drive shaft, which is actually a swiveling joint, unlike these three. And if I were to turn this propeller to my right here, so that it's aiming to the right of an intended line of flight that you want the ball to fly on, you could say that these turntables are now vertical and aim to the right of the target line a number of degrees. And then I would cause them to rotate or revolve on that vertical cross line. So it's vertical but on a cross line. And you want to be able to spin or rotate these turntables without any friction. They're very easy to cause to move around the steady base. So if I face my target line and turn my base, which is mainly my chest and my legs, to the right a bit, say 45 degrees, I can cause my turntable to revolve around this spindle vertically, but on a cross line to the right of the target line. And I would cause that to happen on the downswing while keeping the base quiet. And that's the basis of the swinging stroke. The push stroke, however, is based on the ability to make a turntable revolve or rotate or spin on a diagonal aimed at the base of your target line. And so you see I can try to cause this turntable to rotate or spin on a diagonal away from and toward that line. And that's the basis for the push stroke. And now they use a different type of motor. Both of them, the motor is your trailing arm. That's what dominates the movement of the turntable. So your right arm bending away from the ball or to the right of the ball, for me, and the right hand bending moves the turntable the most. But you do need to turn the base to have the range of motion you need to play a good game of golf. And then on the down track, whether it's the vertical cross line motion or the diagonal straight line, the ability of the trailing arm, or for me my right arm, to lengthen is the primary source of acceleration to cause this whole turntable to revolve or rotate around this bit. And that's controversial. So many people write and talk about how the turning body is the main engine of the swing, but Vardon disagreed, and so do I. And so did Tommy Armour, who studied under Vardon, and John Jacobs, and a number of old-time pros, I'd call them. And I'm getting old enough to be called an old-time pro. Your right arm's ability to drive this whole length, club and left arm, around a steady bit is the basis for both strokes. The diagonal one, however, you would use the broadside of your hand to drive this turntable away from and toward that intended line of flight. And that's a pushing motion. It's how you push water or push a sliding glass door or push anything. You push. And very simple, it's the push stroke. And I call it the broadside bully. You really use the broadside of this hand to drive the turntable right on that diagonal. And then the other one I call a slim side slick. You would drive the turntable with this right arm, and your right hand would be the narrow side, would drive this turntable vertically down on that cross line. So that's the basis. It's like a karate chop, the narrow side of the classic swinging procedure. And then the broadside would be the push stroke. And then there are innumerable hybrids, especially one where you could pitch the ball like a fastball pitcher. And that one's really great. It's sort of right in between the classic swing and the push. It's like throwing a fastball or skipping a rock. And you know, it's easy to get caught up in one or the other and think it's superior. Most of your tour pros either use the classic swinging procedure or that pitching fastball or rock skipping method for their full strokes, and they might save the push stroke, or what's now called the punch stroke, for trouble shots like high rough, buried lies and bunkers, when they hit into a divot, or when they want to flight the ball lower, under the wind or under a tree or something. But anyway, you'll learn that this vertical chop, karate chop, turns into a roll, and it's hard to stop it once you do it. And it gives you greater momentum to finish on your left side. The push you can stop. Push is easy to stop after impact and bring back to where you could do it again. And with the push, you can really hold it tighter forearms. You can have a more gripping muscles, a shorter, more compact backswing, and a more compact through swing. And the swing, of course, is that graceful, elegant one we all seem to want. So I hope you realize these strokes have their vintage in the mid to late 1890s. They've been around for a long time. Not many people are pure, what are called swingers or hitters, but most people favor one style. And I'd urge you to try both of them, starting with the swinging procedure. And learn to play golf well for a long time. Both of them are easy to do physically and very safe. You shouldn't fear injury at all. Thank you.